Hello everybody and welcome back to Operation Logistics, where I still don't know why exactly roads aren't generating, but we're going after the low-hanging fruit. Let's make it so that the buildings despawn so that they're not killing our performance. So, that's very easy to do. It's just buildings.add go. And we're done. Okay, well that was a nice episode. No, I'm kidding. We're gonna just test to make sure that that's working. And then see about diving into why the roads aren't generating. This whole 15 seconds to generate is a little bit absurd, but I mean, I understand why it's taking so long. Skip the tutorial, and let's head on in here. Okay. Excellent. That's working as anticipated. So now to get back to full functionality, to where we were before we decided to re-engineer all of this, all we need to do is make it so that our roads are generating. So the first thing is simply, I feel like we don't need this if statement. So let's go ahead and just tab all of this over and delete the if statement, because I feel like this is all useless at this state. Because we are going to generate roads. We can't click on we can't click on hexes that won't generate roads. So let's go ahead and do that. And then the question is, why are these roads not generating? Well, if for some reason that if statement was messing it up, then that would have fixed it. That shouldn't be the case, but I'll give it a go just to be safe. After every change, I'll check to make sure. Why would the roads not be generating? Well, let me correct that. Why would the roads only be generating on the 3 entry points? That's the question, because they are in fact generating. There's a road here, here, and here, but it's not properly processing the rest of the roads. So it's not going to the other exit points. So the question is, goal hex here, next hex, building index, adding in the roads. Thing is, all of this is one-time use. This should be fine. Because once we store it into hex store, we don't need to do any of this anymore. So So this breaks out if current hex equals goal hex. So goal hex would be sub-hex manager.road entries I+3. So how do we choose our next hex? It's from our current hex, list of building hex possible locations. Okay. We grab our neighbors, that's fine. If current hex equals goal hex, then we just make that be our end point, and then we check our neighbor distance. We grab a random location from the possible locations, and then set our current hex, and then we go back up here, where we add the current road. And then if current hex equals goal hex, we then break because we're done. So it breaks out of here. Apparently without setting up all of these roads, right? Let's check to make sure here that we're not overwriting the roads. Why is this causing errors? We don't know about I. Oh, I don't want to do the for loop. I want to do just the switch statement here for generating non-road buildings. So let's comment out just the switch statement. Like that. There we go. That doesn't break anything. Okay. Let's run this, and let's just see if we were for some reason overwriting the roads. That shouldn't happen. But we'll see. Oh, come on. There we go. Uh-huh. So are these all just 0? Let's find the hex that we're in. I'm wondering if there are roads or if it's just not assigning the... So let's check in here. There are some road intersection generics. So yeah, it's not setting the roads properly, for sure. 100%. Good to know. So this switch statement is working, but for whatever reason, this here is not properly assigning. So biome hex.buildings is what we're accessing from hex store biome hex. And we're passing in essentially biome hex's I. So that should be fine. That's just a list of hex store. It is initting the state here properly, and it is also setting these properly. So biome hex.buildings I is being set properly down there. Whereas here, biome hex.buildings building index. Let's check something. Debug.log building index. I want to know what this number is. Because we can't use I here, for obvious reasons, but I want to know what that building hex, or that building index actually is. Is it actually outputting 0 to 72 like I'm expecting? Should be. But we'll see. So come on, go ahead and load. Really should offload some of this onto a different core. Okay. So it's outputting 10, 15, 21, 10, 15, 21, 10, 15, 21 over and over and over and over again. Uh-huh. Well, that's the problem right there. So, current hex. Got it. The problem is that we are not changing our building index when we change our current hex. So building index should then be changed to subhexes.index of current hex. We're never changing our building index, so we never actually change the hex we're working with. That should fix the problem. I think, anyway. Like, that should 100% be the problem. If it's not the problem, it's certainly a problem, and fixing it is a good thing. Okay, skip the tutorial, head on in. Takes a little longer. Index number 1. So we've got a few issues here, I can see. This is not correct. This is not correct. And then we've got ourselves some roads that are not on a road. And the game is a little confused. But that's progress right there. Okay. So with this happening, the next question is, why is this going on? So let's go ahead and regenerate everything and take a quick look and see if we can isolate what's going on here. But we are just about back to where we were. If we can get these roads properly generating here, it seems to be thinking that it's on the wrong roads, and I'm guessing that is 100% the issue. So let's go ahead and go into our center hex right here. Okay. So this is mostly correctly generating. Let's take a quick look at what's going on here. I'm just going to go into top. There we go. And we are over here in this hex right here. And we should be right here. Yes. Yes, indeed. Okay, so we've got ourselves a road intersection generic here, element 58. Now, we don't necessarily know here, but all of these are on index number 1, or number -1 when they're on roads. So clearly our on-road index is not quite being assigned correctly. So let's take a quick look here. Building, or biomehex.onroad building index equals I. Biomehex.onroad building index equals I. And then down here, okay, we add in intersections. We are setting it here. Are we accessing it incorrectly in here? So this doesn't... Index equals our road dot index of sub hex manager sub hexes I. Okay, two things. One, we're doing the same thing twice here. So, with that being the case, the question then becomes, why are we doing this? Like, index is supposed to be what road we're on, right? No. Hang on. Hang on a moment. I think I'm very confused here, because spawn road type, index here is what position in the road it is. But this is thinking that it's supposed... This is thinking that it's on road, but it's not that at all. So, two things. We're definitely doing this twice, so that's unnecessary. We can save a little bit of time by not doing that. And then, the question is, why did I think that this was on road? Oh, because it's index -1, because it's not actually on that road? This isn't on road. It's supposed to be on road, our current road, but is index number -1, which indicates that it's not actually on there, because index of, if it's not there, will return -1. So, here's the thing. It's not getting added to sub-hex-manager.roads, biomehex.onroad, which makes me think maybe we're doing something wrong up here. Because, let's see here, once we choose the next location, we set the on-road here, current road.add, sub-hex-manager.roads.add current road. Okay, we are adding it to the road. So the question then becomes, why is this erroring out? Why is it returning index -1? Because it then just continues. Because it doesn't have a proper index here. That said, does it need one? What happens if we do just comment this out? Let's find out. I'm not sure what's going to happen here. This could just break everything, but it might also fix it. We'll see. It'll certainly make it generate faster. This index -1 thing is a little odd to me. Okay, we'll skip that tutorial. Argument out of range. So we're getting some argument out of range exceptions here. Or an argument out of range exception, actually. World hex line 915. So that would be this guy right here. Because we are using index -1, so that would return -2. Yup. That makes sense. Okay. So if index equals -1, then the question is, why is it not on that road? If biomehex.buildingsI equals building.road, list building hex r road equals sub-hex-manager.roads biomehex.onroad_I. So it always passes in I, and when we're up here, when we actually generate the roads, current road equals new list building hex, and then we add that to the sub-hex manager roads. Okay, here's the thing. I think we should just remove roads from sub-hex manager. There's not much point to this. I think we should just do this. It'll break some things. That's fine. We don't need to do that anymore. And just get rid of that. And then in here, rather than sub-hex-manager.roads, let's go ahead and in the hex store, do a public list. And this is a list of hex store, I believe. And we will call this roads equals new list hex store 73. Okay. And then in our world hex, when we are initializing the rest of these, let's go ahead and say biome hexes I dot roads dot add. Actually, no. Yeah. This needs to be a list of roads. So let's go into the hex store here, because this needs to be a list of roads. A list of hex store. That is. New list hex store 73. Okay. So we then add a new list, and this would be a new list of hex store, like so. Okay. And then we can fix this by saying something more along the lines of biomehex.roads.add. Right? This would, however, need to be the index of the sub-hex that we are currently working in, which we can get by moving building index up here and then saying biomehex building index dot roads dot add current road biomehexes. No. Hang on. What am I doing wrong here? I'm thinking of this incorrectly. Building hex dot roads biome hex. That's what, or building index. That's what we need to do. And then we add in our current road. We don't have current hex because we need to move that up here. And then as far as adding this road in, why is this erroring? Cannot convert from building hex to hex store. Right. This should be a hex store. That said, current hex is a building hex. I suppose we can have this just be a building hex. And then in the hex store, we'll make this be building hex for right now. This is only a temporary thing. We don't need to have access to this for a long amount of time. So then, cannot convert a list of building hexes to just a building hex. Because we need this to be a list of a list of a list? I think we do. Yes. We do. Okay. This is gonna get awkward. Okay. So, that's exciting stuff right there. So we would need this to be list building hex r road equals, and we don't need this to be that anymore. This up here, we'll add a new list of a list of hex store here. There we go. Because we need to add a new list of a list of a list of hex store. Okay. Oh, no, this is just a list of a list. Why isn't this working? Because we can't add biome hexes dot roads. So biome hexes dot roads I dot add, right? No. I've confused myself. This is too many nested lists. We need to see if we can make it work without that. Okay. So, we would then add a new list of hex stores. There are 3 roads per biome hex. This is still erroring. Cannot convert... Oh, because this is a new list of building hex. And I need to capitalize the H. There we go. Okay. So this here, we are adding in a list. So we do actually need this to be a 3-way nested list. So let's make this be a list of a list of a list of building hex. I realize this is confusing, but this is actually what is necessary. Okay. And then this needs to add a new list of a list of building hexes. And then roads here needs to instead be biome hex dot roads biome hex dot on road. So this needs to be biome hex dot roads I biome hex on road I think. And then this here needs to be the same thing. Biome hex dot roads I, and then we access biome hex dot on road I for the index there. Is that gonna work? I have no idea. Let's find out. It was really confusing, but it compiles. That's the thing. It compiles. So let's do this. Maybe it just works. Maybe it doesn't. Who knows? Come on. Okay, skip the tutorial. We have some argument out of range exceptions. Okay. So this is in World Hex line 834, which is right here. So biome hex.buildings_i equals building.road. Okay, so let's explore our hexes here a little bit and see what we got here. So it would appear that our list of roads is not appearing. It would also appear this isn't all being set properly. I'm assuming that's because we have a issue here. Well, it should have already been set, actually. Realistically. Okay, so why is our list of roads not appearing? In the hex store here. It should be right here. Show in inspector? Oh, wait, this is a, this is not a mono behavior here. Let's go into our building hex here. This is a mono behavior. It should show up. Why is it not showing up? So we're being called from World Hex line 985. Which is right here, generate buildings, biome hexes I, and then that's going to line 834, right here, and then clearly the roads isn't being correctly chosen here. Do we need a third dimension when we choose this? Because this is a three-dimensional list. So we're choosing our biome hex dot roads. Okay, quick question. If in the hex store we change this back to a two-dimensional list yet again, I mean, it's going to create some errors. This still compiles, though, right? No, it does not. Okay. So this does indeed need to be a three-dimensional list. Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and put a cut in here, and next episode, we'll try to wrap our heads around this. See you all then.